Welcome back to another episode of Lesser Known Legends. Finally, just in case you forgot, this is a series where I discuss urban legends and pieces of folklore that are less talked about, not as common as some of the bigger legends. These are things that I honestly can barely find any information on the internet. I could barely find anything for the last episode on the Ghost of Deer Island, but for today's episode I could find even less information. I think I found maybe 2 websites that had little articles about it. It was mostly the same information regurgitated. One of the articles mentioned a book that they're getting their information from. I'm wondering if that maybe has a little bit more. So, forgot the name of the book. We'll just maybe put it here. Okay, there we go. But I kind of had to get this video out quick. So, we don't got time to go on eBay and look for a book and then wait for it to show up. That's just not what we're doing here. This is a Thanksgiving special. You see my decorations for Thanksgiving? Honestly, can't think of a lot of stuff to do for Thanksgiving in terms of video ideas. It's not quite as exciting as Halloween or Christmas, which has endless possibilities in terms of imagination and movies you can talk about. There's a lot more going on with those two. This one, not so much. So what the heck am I getting at with this? What is any of this? Is this about a Thanksgiving? Really, the legend has nothing to do with Thanksgiving, but there is a very loose connection that was good enough for me. Today, we are going to be discussing the Goblin Scarecrow of Pennsylvania. Thanksgiving, fall, scarecrows, that's kind of like my only real connection here. Scarecrows are neat. The legend is indigenous to the Pennsylvanian wilds. Apparently the first documented sighting of this thing dates back to the 1950s. Couldn't find a more specific date than that, just somewhere in the 50s. A couple of deer hunters were out in the woods when they came across what appeared to be a scarecrow of some sort. Something in the shape of a man wearing ragged, torn clothing and had the head of a pumpkin with a crooked grin upon it. But stranger yet, it wasn't just a carved pumpkin face, but the face could actually articulate and move as if it was alive. The scarecrow let out a banshee-like shriek and began chasing after the men. One of them shot at the thing, but instead of bleeding, it began oozing bugs, insects, all kinds of creepy crawlies gushing out of it. That is all I know about that particular interaction. I'm assuming they got away if they were able to tell their tale. But there have been a few other sightings here and there. Nothing quite as fleshed out as that. Apparently people have just encountered this thing and it either chases after them trying to attack or it will just let out that shrieking holler. I don't know about you, but I think that would scare the crap out of me. When it comes to any kind of legend like this, I do like to try and analyze a little bit about okay, if that's the legend, what could it really be? How can we debunk it? I've really got nothing much for this one. I mean, the story is so incredibly far-fetched. I don't know, maybe there's a guy dressed like a scarecrow. That mixed with drunk hunters, possibility. But I thought it was a neat legend. I'm always interested in sort of the origins of living scarecrows that, kill people. That's a common horror trope that isn't maybe used as often. It's used a lot for crap movies, but for good movies, there's only maybe a handful. Scarecrows, Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Some other ones, I don't know. It's just interesting to see the origins of where did this sort of idea come from? And as far as right now is concerned, that's the oldest example of a scarecrow monster that I can find. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully I can do more of these lesser known legend episodes in the future. I did the one back in July and forgot about the series basically. So yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.